Hey guys, we're Shania and Anna, and we're thrilled to have you guys join us for Come and Hang with Us Behind the Crimes. It's a little detour from our usual podcast topics, as in this segment, we dive into the lesser known yet utterly intriguing tales of crime.
Today, we've got something that is more than just intriguing. It's downright chilling. We're diving deep into one of the most haunting and mysterious maritime disasters in recent history, the Sewol ferry incident. So, fasten your seatbelts because we're about to unravel a story that shook an entire nation to its core. So, let's get into it.
The Sewol ferry, a South Korean passenger ship, set sail on the morning of April 16, 2014, from Incheon towards the popular resort island of Jeju. Little did anyone on board know that this would be a journey into darkness.
And what's even more disconcerting is the decisions that unfolded beneath the tranquil surface. The ferry was overloaded with cargo, and structural modifications made it top-heavy and unstable, setting the stage for disaster. In fact, the ship could only turn 5 degrees, but it was turned 50 degrees to the left, setting the stage for disaster.
Picture this. The sun was shining, passengers were settling in, and the sea appeared calm. But beneath the surface, the ship was tilting, and panic quickly spread amongst the 476 people on board, including 325 high school students on a field trip.
Chaos reigned on board, and passengers grappled with the sudden danger they found themselves in. An ear recording captured the racing panic. In the audio recording, one could hear the chaos that was happening, and the passengers stated that they did not know what was happening, and that the ship was tilting and things were getting worse.
As the ferry continued to list, the actions of the crew would come under scrutiny. Shockingly, despite the clear danger, Captain Lee Jun-suk and several other crew members abandoned ship, leaving the passengers behind and even telling them on the overhead to stay put and not to move from where they were, with many of the student passengers still locked in their rooms.
The captain's departure was shocking betrayal for his duty, and he set the stage for an unfolding tragedy. Okay, let's dive deep into what the captain did that unfolded tragedy for all those students and passengers on the boat. He was the first one to leave the boat as it was sinking. That man, he actually took off his clothes to look like another passenger.
Yep.
He didn't have a floaty because there weren't enough floaties for everybody on the boat. Oh my gosh, he literally just left. Him and some other crew members were rescued by the Coast Guard. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, and they were like the very first ones to get picked up due to the fact that they pretended to be like any other like passenger, and that is like crazy.
I mean, they told students to stay put, to stay in their rooms because it was an overnight trip. It was like at around like 8 a.m. that the boat started to sink, to tilt. The students were told to stay in their cabins. I actually saw a video. I don't know if the person that recorded the video survived, but it was a girl saying, "Do you guys remember what happened in that subway incident? That they were told to stay inside, and the only people that got saved were the ones that left. I think we should leave." Another girl was like, no, let's stay. They're telling us to stay put.
Yeah, the adults know what we're supposed to do. Yeah. If we move, something might happen. We might make it worse.
Yeah, and there's a sound. There's like a message going around like on the speakers. Yeah. Stay put on life jackets. Don't go out.
Help us under, right? Or something along those lines. I actually also saw a video of like how bad the tilt was, where horrible. Things were literally like I think it was recorded by a student. I also don't know if they lived or not, but it was one of the guys, and it was in their little room, and like since in the ship it was like bunk beds, they were like holding on, like it was like slant. It was a very bad tilt, and they were panicking, and you could hear the chaos that was happening. And then, like you said, you could hear the audio going back and forth, being like, "Oh, stay put, don't move." But like, there were a lot of people conflicted between like, should we listen to the adults? Should we not?
Most of the people that were saved, there's this story of this one crew member. she was actually around the age of the students. The students were sophomores, and the girl had to leave school, and she was working because, you know, her situations in life. She decided to stay back because she's a crew member, and that was her duty. She gave her floaty to other students, and she let the students out, and she told them to jump into the water. And there was a student that actually grabbed her by the arm, and he was like, "It's okay, come with us, come with us."
But then she kept going back. She went to the other floors to get the other students.
Yeah. Her body was later on found out floating, facing down. But she was a hero.
Yeah.
For the students that were saved. Some teachers. There was this one teacher. She called her mom, and she was telling her, "I'm sorry.
I have to do this.
I have to do this." And then she called her boyfriend, and she was like, "I love you. I'm so sorry. It has to be like this. I'm gonna hang up." And he's like, wait, don't hang up. What's going on? And she's like, no, I have to hang up. There are kids that need to talk to their parents, and my phone is about to die.
And that, I remember when I watched and heard about that, I was so sad.
Dude.
Like, this was probably one of the cases that actually made me really sad reading about it, just because it's always like, they didn't do anything. But anyways, back to the actual events that occurred that day.
Well, actually the first person to alert the Coast Guard in South Korea was one of the students. He called them and he was like, "Hey, we're hearing noises. There's a weird egg smell for gas."
Yeah.
And I think the boat is sinking. And they were like, "Are you sure?" And he was like, "Hey, I'm in the boat." Like, this is happening. So the Coast Guard went to the site. They had an helicopter and they had a boat. The helicopter did nothing.
It just kept
going around and around, and they called the Blue House.
Yep.
Now, that's a whole other story on itself, because Koreans were not very happy with their president at the moment.
Yep.
They called it the Blue House will be the White House.
Yeah, it's equivalent to the White House in America.
And they called, and somebody answered, and they were like, this is happening. They told them what the situation was, and they were like, "Oh, is it really that bad? Can you send a video?" And you know what the helicopter responded? "I'm not sure. I don't want it to get leaked."
What is the point of that?
And they're like, "Oh, are you sure?" Like, no, just send a video. We need to know what's happening. The president was MIA. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Of the radar for 7 hours.
Yep, the whole time that it was happening.
The whole time it happened. And so the parents want to know what's going on. Parents are calling, they're talking to their kids, and news starts to to come out saying that yes, this is happening, but it's okay. We have rescued all the people on the boat. They're all safe. There's nothing to worry about. The boat is like it's almost halfway underwater. So parents,
imagine like this.
Yeah, it's like it's tilting and it's going down. And the parents are like, "Okay, it's cool. Like,
my children are safe.
Everybody is alive. The government got this. The Korean Coast Guard got this." But then they don't see their kids.
Nope.
They don't hear anything from their kids, and they're like, "What's going on?" There's this girl. There's one news outlet, News Tapa. They were the only news that were actually telling what was going on. For one reason, I mentioned before that Koreans were not very happy with their president at the moment. Miss Lady, she was very famous for blacklisting news outlets. So if you said something that she wasn't very happy about,
you might get blacklisted.
You're cut out.
And this news place was the only one brave enough to like even talk about it and spread the word that it was even happening, and they were the only ones that had footage of the event happening.
Yeah, so the parents are freaking out. They want to know what's going on with their kids. The kids come from Seoul, And that's a pretty long trip they were now at the south of the country. They were going through a passage that the boat was actually told not to go through because they were not up to date with some regulation or something like that. I'm not really good on the technical part. I just know that they shouldn't have gone through that passage because the waters are a little...
They were more shallow, I think, if that was the case.
Well, at the moment, it was shallow, but they were like high currents.
Yeah.
And at the moment, they were actually during low tide.
Mm-hmm.
So rescue was possible. But the Korean Coast Guard, they got a call from the American U.S. Navy. They had a base there, and they were like, "You guys need help? We can help you." And they were like, "No, we got this." And then they got a call from Japan.
Need help?
Need help? No, we got this. The golden hour has passed. Excuse me.
The golden hour, to be more specific, is the first 72 hours of usable air pockets, and that is like like available in a ship once like things start like underwater and stuff like that. So
yeah, but also the literal one golden hour, one hour has passed by, and they have only rescued the captain and some people from the crew.
Mm-hmm.
Now students are going crazy. I mean, water is coming. Water is getting into the boat. They're sinking, and nobody's letting them go out. That's when the teachers, I think 3 teachers
started helping.
Started to get everybody out. But parents go to this harbor called Pangmok. Pangmok. I'm sorry, I don't speak Korean.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. And they start to see that the Korean Coast Guard is not doing anything. There's no rescue going on at the moment. There's only one boat, and it's going around the sinking ship.
Not even approaching it, not even doing
That's
anything.
how you know that they were not divers going for people. Because if they were actually diving, the boat cannot move. Because they need air.
Mm-hmm.
It will twist the air...
Oxygen.
Yeah, the oxygen from going to the divers. And they were like, oh my gosh, what's going on? It's like 9 p.m. It's already dark outside.
Yeah.
It's cold. And the parents are freaking out. They get a boat, a fishing boat, and they go out to sea. And there's this command ship, 3009?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't know numbers in English. Anyway, they were sent to help. But there's no divers. There's no one going into the water saving the kids. And news outlets are saying, oh yeah, we're working on it. The Coastal Guard president or whoever is in charge of them, he's like, yeah, we have like 500 divers, we have this and that. But it's not true, because parents could see. Yeah. And News Tapa is reporting live. They're like, hey, nothing is happening.
Meanwhile, every other news outlet was lying and saying that, oh, all these people are helping and all this progress is being made, when in reality, nothing was actually happening, and only News Tapa was covering the actual events. It was so that what was said is due to the fact that they didn't want people to panic, and Korea wanted people to believe that they were in control of everything.
Now, they didn't totally lie. Because I know the Coastal Guard thingy man said that he had 500 divers. And, I mean, there was a diver. There were 2 diving moments. One at midnight and one at 1 a.m. That's the only 2 times there was a diver actually on the water, but they didn't save anyone. But they dove into the water. Yeah. They were in the water, Parents were looking at the boat at the command ship 3009, and they were like, my kids are down there. They are alive, so do something. Hurry up. Mm-hmm. I saw News Tapa did an amazing coverage of the whole situation. You see the parents. He's like, Palia, my kid, my kid is down there. Yeah. Palia. And then there's this other mother. It's freezing. It's winter. Okay. Kids are already. If they're not dying because they're drowning, they're dying because of hypothermia. There's a mom. She's being interviewed or something, and she's given a blanket by some other parent, and she's like, what's the use of a blanket if my kid
Yep, if my kid is freezing by themselves.
It's...
Wow. How can I be warm and how can I be happy over here if my, like, kid is suffering down there?
Yeah. So, that first day, there were some people that were saved. But they were only saved by commercial or, like, independent fishing people.
Not by the government.
Not by the government. The government did nothing to help.
Yeah.
The kids are... There was this family of 4. The parents, a boy, and a girl of 6. It was a 6-year-old girl. The girl was saved because everybody passed her one by one. Her whole family died at the incident. Now it's April 17.
The next day.
And the sink has fully gone underwater.
Yeah, the ship was fully submerged, and now it was like really, really important for everyone to start getting saved if there is even a chance of them getting to live.
So at 9 a.m., Udon, a ship, appeared, and they have an air compressor to pump air into the ship because we have those 72
hours,
golden hours, that it's the usable air trapped inside of this ship for the students to survive
if they were able to get into the little air pockets.
Yeah. And so Undon, they have this air compressor and they start to pump air into the ship so the students can have more air.
But you know what's ironic?
The air compressor was for industrial use, not for breathing. So the compressor will exhale polluted air out of the engine that will be like automobile exhaust gas being injected into the air pockets of the ship. They have this little oxygen left in the ship for the students to breathe, and they're being poisoned with CO2.
Yep.
3 hours later, the sink just keeps on going down. This situation, it was worse, now it's worser. Okay?
No, yeah, like, their intentions were good, but they didn't think it through. And because of that, it caused even less people to be able to survive the ship. Now,
the president goes and they start to pretend to look at maps. And parents are like, what? Parents are present when the president is there and the coastal guard is like showing them maps of the situation. And they're like, don't pretend, you're literally pointing at like random things in the map. That's not where my kids are. You're still not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because new outlets said that the kids had been all recovered and were safe. Civilian divers that were supposed to go and help to volunteer
backed up.
But then they start to hear discrepancies because everybody was safe. But what do you mean that today we saved 174 people?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on?
When there was a total of 400, I believe.
Yeah. And they're like, "Ooh, I thought everybody was safe." So they go back to where the kids were, and they realize no one is doing any rescue. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, "Hey, I can help," because the coast guard, they're like, "Oh no, we cannot go into the water," and they're like, "Okay, I'll go into the water. I don't care. Let me go."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yeah, come here." And they start to get introduced to everybody. "Oh, this is my friend. This is my brother.
Yeah.
Are you hungry? You want ramen?"
Mm.
And they were like, "I'm here to save kids, not to eat ramen."
Yeah.
What's going on? Nobody's working. There's this coastal guard spokesperson, and he's like complaining about his job. He's like, you literally tell people to watch their step and they don't watch it. Oh my God. It's so frustrating. And I'm like, to watch what? You didn't go and you haven't saved anyone.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And you're just delaying them.
Yeah. So now it's the third day. There's civilians helping. And early morning, April 19th, the only ship, the Udon? No, that's a brand of noodles.
Yeah, that's a brand of noodles.
Sorry, Undan. UNDONE. Yundon has a guideline to the ship. And that's when the first 3 body recoveries are done by a civilian diver.
Yep. And I believe that was the one that they actually saw, and they dove in, and then they saw like these 2 students that tied their lifeguards, like not lifeguards, their life vests together, and like so that they would stay, like, you know, like that their bodies would stay together. And it is assumed that they were comforting each other and trying to like be there for one another through their last moments. And it's just really sad when I heard about that. And actually, if you watch the show, it's one of the it's not The Last of Us. What's the Korean?
We're all
of us. Yeah, all of us are dead. They actually paid tribute to that, and they reenacted or like recreated it
in a zombie way.
In a zombie way, obviously.
It's a really good show. You guys should watch it. But you know what else? Other students, as they were calling their parents, there was this kid. He called and he said, "Don't ever let my little sister come to a trip.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it." It was oh my god.
I bawled my eyes out.
I didn't cry because I was in
the grind.
In the grind. I was so sad. I was mad. I was sad. I was just thinking, like, what if it was me in the boat? What if it was my brother?
What would I do?
What would I do? Not being able to do anything.
It's the worst.
It's the worst thing of all.
Yeah, and we're back to the people that were actually tied up together. They actually did not know each other at all. They passed by. Like, they would just say hi if they saw each other in the halls. So I feel like it says a lot that they were like, they gathered it up and said, "Hey, let's stay together."
Yeah.
Like,
and the diver who actually,
he was traumatized.
Oh, the diver that found them, he didn't want to untie them.
Yeah.
Because he knew, when he saw them, he knew that they did it for a reason. He didn't know that they didn't know each other.
Mm-hmm.
He knew that they didn't want to be alone at that time. So, but for him to be able to rescue the bodies, he had to untie them. That actually, that diver, I read his story. I think he recovered like 25 bodies.
Mm-hmm. He got injured.
He got injured, actually, yeah. He was paralyzed on one leg. I think it was the left leg.
I think it was, yeah.
He went to the jury trials towards the captain, and he was like, why?
Yeah.
Right? He actually gave his testimony. Sadly, he couldn't live with that pain. And I think a couple of years later, he committed suicide.
Yeah.
He couldn't live with that.
He couldn't.
All the divers, they had this promise that they will not look into the students' eyes.
Yeah, because
once you look at them,
you won't ever forget.
You won't be the same person ever again. And the vice principal of the high school, parents were mad at him because he was the one who organized the trip. And he was a good teacher. He was the ethics teacher.
Oh.
He tried his best to help the students. He took responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And later on, he was found hanging on the woods. And he wrote that he wishes in the next life to still be their teacher.
Mm-hmm.
It's not his fault, okay? He didn't know the issues that were happening with the boat. He tried his best to save his students, and he took responsibility, but he just couldn't bear with all the guilt. It's like, that's all, like, I don't know how you do that. It was horrible. They actually, for 100 days, they were recovering bodies, but it was 2018, mind you. This tragedy happened in 2014. It was until in 2018 there were 9 bodies that were still missing. Yeah. And they actually did not take the boat out of the water to, like, a good time after the tragedy was happening. And this and many other things led to the president at the moment to be impeached.
Yeah.
They were done with her. Parents went on hunger strikes. They didn't want money. I don't know how to pronounce this number. Hold on. This.
Which one?
177.
177K
were given to the parents per victim. But parents didn't want money. Okay? They went on a hunger strike because they wanted the truth.
Yeah, and they wanted
what happened to my kids? Why did the government stand by as they heard my kids dying? There was a kid, they saw her. She was banging on the window, on the glass with the chair as she was trying to escape. And the Korean has scored
nothing.
The parents shaved their heads, and the president supporters. You know what they did?
What?
As the parents, there was a man that went like 40 days only drinking water and having salt. They sat in front of the parents
and would eat,
and they ate pizza and fried chicken.
Oh my gosh!
Korean fried chicken is really good. Okay,
girl.
I'm so sorry, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
But you know how cruel you have to be to be in front of a parent demanding for answers, and just, oh, you're on a hunger strike?
Me too.
I have chicken. I have pizza. You want some?
Oh my God.
You can't.
It's crazy.
It was.
Yeah.
It was horrible. The captain was sentenced to, I think it was life in prison, and then his sentence went down to 36 years.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Yeah, him and crew members that left the boat to save themselves. I don't know how selfish you have to be. I have never met someone so selfish.
That you were like, oh, I don't give any, like...
I don't care. I'm just gonna save myself.
Yeah, about these students. Like, they can go die. I'll go live. Like, that's so sad. And it's just... The crazy thing is, the reason this all happened was due to the fact that the boat was having a lot of prior issues.
Oh yeah, the members, they were not certified to work. They actually paid to not forge because the permit was real. They just paid for a permit. They weren't certified. They didn't certified know for anything. They
did not know how to actually, like, they didn't go through the training programs or any of that. And alongside this, the boat itself was a cargo and passenger boat. And
they had more cargo than they were supposed to do. I have the numbers here. So the ferry had capacity for 90 vehicles, normal cars. There were 124 and 56 trucks.
Which is, oh my.
Okay. We go from 90 to 180.
Yeah, 180 total vehicles the boat. And that led to how much? How many pounds?
Wait, no, hold on. Because there's more, okay? They could take 997 tons on, like, cargo ships on, like, the little container thingies. You know how many tons they had?
How many?
I cannot say that.
1,157 tons were actually on the boat.
So, the craziest part, because you think this is bad, it just gets worse. When you have that kind of shipment on your ship boats, whatever, you have to secure those things.
Yes.
Because if there's like a little, too much movement, they can slide. Oops. Sorry. It will slide. Nothing was secured. There were dash cams on the cars.
And you can literally
see how the cars were like, going to the side.
And then because they weren't tied down, it actually caused the ship to tilt even more.
Yes.
Because not only was it overloaded, it was also just like moving around, imagine like a cargo, like a car, like a literal truck moving left and right in your own, like in a boat. Like, it's gonna definitely cause like some type of damage.
Yeah.
And sadly it did. And that is supposedly why the ship started sinking.
Well, they tilted it. Yeah. It was a manual ship though.
Yeah.
They were only supposed to tilt it 5 degrees to the left. they tilted it 15 degrees. Okay, there's not like 1 or 2 degrees like, oopsies, I'm just a little girl in the world. No. That's like, oh, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
This is bad.
And they didn't try fixing it.
They didn't try to fix it. They didn't have enough life jackets for everybody.
And then life jackets were not all up to date.
They were like from the 1900s. Okay? They were not up to date. It was the kids actually, they were separated, boys and girls.
Mm-hmm.
There's videos of the boys saying, oh, do the girls have life jackets?
Yeah.
Give them our life jackets. Are they okay?
Yeah.
Is there water in the rooms?
I've never seen such selfless men, like little boys too.
Yeah.
Like,
it was touching. They were a total, because it was a class trip for sophomores. It was like a rite of passage for the kids at that school. They were so excited because they go for a weekend in Jeju Island.
Yeah.
They have fun. There's only a couple teachers. There's 325 sophomores. You know how many survived?
How many?
75. Yeah. That was only sophomore class. The tragedy was so bad. The kids, they all went to group therapy.
Yeah, the ones that survived.
Survivor school guilt.
Yep.
I don't know if you've met someone who has survivor's guilt. It's the most traumatizing thing in the world. I had this experience where someone actually drowned.
Oh.
And my dad had to go save that kid. My dad and other pastors. It was... And it was one person, okay?
Yeah.
That death haunts me. Haunts all the people that were...
there.
Yeah. And the kid was told not to go to that place. He went. And they were like, oh my gosh, he's drowning. Let's go get an adult. By the time the adults were back, the kid was dead.
Yeah.
Survival's guilt is something you cannot live with.
Yeah. It's not an easy thing.
It kills your life. And those kids, every single kid had someone they knew at that school that had died.
One of them actually like lost all their friends. Like they were the only one from the like group that like survived.
Parents keep their kids' rooms the same way they were. They hope that one day their kid will just walk in their house as if nothing happened. Families have gotten divorces. There's parents that have just gone into alcoholism because they just cannot live with that. And siblings
that genuinely, oh my gosh.
That's... I could never live knowing that something like that happened to my brother.
Like I would have been like, oh, if only I just stopped him. If only
I had told him not to go.
Yeah.
If only the government, we could trust in them, that they could save our relatives.
I don't know. And it's just really sad because, like, to them, all the kids ever did that caused them to die was they listened to their adults. But the adults failed them.
The adults failed them. It wasn't... Can you believe where the one time you actually...
Listen?
Follow the rules?
You go, like, oh my gosh. It is not.
I don't know. Well... a lot of... Everything stopped in Korea for the mourning period. Whatever they were releasing, music stopped coming out. Everything went on a hiatus because it's a tragedy, okay? And that is such a small country, but artists such as BTS,
like
they came out with music. There was this other artist. The parents of the kid that died, they contacted him. They were like, look, my kid was a fan of you and he wanted to be a singer because of you. This is the song he made.
And then he produced
the song. Here's one of the BTS songs. That song, actually, the reason why I know about this strategy back in 2014 is because of this song. Yeah. It says this. I miss you. Saying this makes me miss you all even more. I miss you. Even though I'm looking at your photo. Time is cruel. I hate us. Seeing each other is now more difficult. It's all winter here, even in August. My heart is running on time. Alone on the snow piercer. I want to go to the other side of the earth. holding your hand. Put an end to the winter. How much should my longings fall like the snow before the days of spring return, friend? Spring is like one of the best seasons in Korea.
Yeah.
It's not too hot, it's not too cold. The cherry blossoms
are
blooming.
Yeah.
And tragedy happens. Nobody
expected it. Nobody.
Actually, the principal, I think that was him who committed suicide.
It was in
the day a year after.
Oh, so that's when he did.
That's why he did it.
Yeah.
It was such a hard time for everybody. I was crying my eyes out on the inside. But yeah.
Yeah, that's the story of the incident of the Sewol ferry.
Yeah, that's how this.
And so the Sewol ferry incident is a haunting reminder of the consequences of human error, negligence, and the pursuit of profit over safety. As of 2018, like we said earlier, 9 bodies are still missing, and the government provided $1,077K of US dollars to victims' families for each victim.
As we said before, survivors, especially the 75 out of the 325 sophomore class students who remained, received group therapy to cope with the trauma.
And with that, we conclude another riveting episode of Come and Hang, Behind the Crimes. If you have thoughts on this or any other cases, please reach out to us on our social media platforms or email us. All of our contact info is down below.
Don't forget to follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Comm and Hang, as well as our personal Instagrams if desired. And subscribe to our YouTube page. Don't be shy and feel free to ask us questions, suggest topics, comment any information we might have missed. And as always, take care.
Thank you once again for tuning in to Come and Hang, Behind the Crime. Stay tuned for more intriguing tales from the world of true crime, and until next time, stay curious, and reminder that we are all in this together. Bye. Goodbye.